Exercise considerations for obese clients. Hi, I'm Hayley from Parallel Coaching, and in this video we're going to understand how you can prescribe safe and effective exercise for those that are over BMI 30. We're also going to understand the health implications and how you can go about creating the right type of environment for your client to train safely. Now, as part of this, there are 3 mock questions alongside this video that will help you test your knowledge on today's content and help you feel more confident. And there's also an opportunity to be able to join us and find out much more about how you can start working with these types of clients. So before we dive in any deeper, let's find out what obesity actually is. Now, obesity is defined via BMI, so body mass index. And somebody who has a body mass index of 30 or more is classed as being obese. And there's different levels, obese tier 1, 2, and 3. And within this, it's an escalating level of health implications. That's why we need to know about BMI, and that's why we need to do this with our clients to actually ascertain what level of risk they have in relation to their health. Now, as somebody gets larger and they accumulate more body mass, so that's a combination of weight in relation to their height, so as their mass increases, there's actually more strain on the same size systems we have. So if you think about our anatomical and physiological systems that you learn about in your level 3 anatomy and physiology, you've got the heart and circulatory system. That's the same size regardless of the weight of that person. And actually that's why it's important to think about the weight of that person relating to now the heart needs to work harder to fuel everything of that whole increased volume. Not just for the cardiorespiratory system, but also for our muscles and for our skeletal system, which are our joints and our bones, amongst many more. Our energy systems have to work harder. Our hormonal system, endocrine system needs to work harder. Our nervous system needs to work harder. So actually it creates a large amount of strain on the same sized anatomical and physiological systems we have in the body. And that's why there are health implications that start to kick in. The main health implications to bear in mind as somebody increases in weight is that they are more likely to have type 2 diabetes, more likely to experience hypertension and high blood pressure. That leads to stroke, heart attacks. It could also lead to certain cancers, particularly colon cancers, and many other implications, especially things like arthritis and problems with the joints as well. So when we're looking at our clients and we see that they are BMI 30 or more, this isn't just a stamp that says, yes, you are obese. It's actually saying this has areas of concern that is now affecting your health. And by controlling that and actually working somebody back down to a healthy BMI, we're in a place whereby we can significantly reduce all of those risk factors that later apply. So that's why we're looking at BMI as a method of saying actually somebody is now at risk. Now, because they're at risk and there's already this amount of strain on their system, we have to be very careful about how we're working with these clients. Because if their heart is already under strain, their blood pressure is already under strain, and then I give exercise, which is a stressor, on top of that, now I'm more likely to instigate things like strokes and heart attacks because the body is already stressed and I'm adding stress to it. And that's why there's only certain people that can work with obese clients. So if your client is BMI 30 or more, you need to either be qualified in the level 3 exercise referral or in level 3 diploma in supporting clients with long-term conditions. And this means you'll understand how to safely and effectively work with those clients time and time again. And that's really important for making sure that you're doing this safely. So you need to understand that there are some basic exercise guidelines first and foremost. So these exercise guidelines are the fundamentals for health and healthy living. So this includes 150 minutes of moderate activity every week, which can be divided up as ever you wish. So it could be 5 lots of 30 minutes, or it could be smaller than that. And this is moderate intensity. And then you also have 2 lots of resistance training every single week. And that resistance training is essentially going to be able to challenge the muscles and the bones and the joints effectively. And we also want to make sure we're regularly training for flexibility as well. And this means that we're able to start contributing towards the health and function of the overall body by using moderate activity for cardiovascular, which is somewhere between RPE 5 and 7, and then all the way up to resistance training twice a week and flexibility. Now, there are some considerations we also need to factor in. We need to bear in mind that our client's range of movement might be compromised because of fat mass and increased muscle mass around particular joints. And this is the same regardless of our client's body composition when they're at an elevated BMI. So consider range of movement of what that individual can actually do inside each exercise. We also want to look at their overall postural compensations and how this is affecting overall alignment. So a common one here is that if somebody is larger, based on range of movement being limited around the hips and the legs, they'll take a wider stance. And in doing so, they might well turn their toes out slightly, which starts to distribute the weight more evenly over a larger surface area. But in doing so, the knees often start to roll in and you have this adduction or this internal rotation of the knees. And so you start to see clear postural compensations and potential injuries arising as a result of how our clients adapt around their new body shape. So we want to bear those in mind, and we want to consider that we're keeping our clients in the best postural alignment possible throughout every exercise they're doing. Now, this includes gait, so walking, running, and also just lunge patterns, etc., because our clients are more likely to be out of alignment when they're at a larger weight or a larger BMI. So we want to make sure we're paying attention to our clients' feet and their alignment through their knees and their hips in particular. You also might notice compensations around the pelvis area and the spine, whereby they're compensating for that anterior tilt to compensate for the excess abdominal weight. Then we also want to consider impact. If our clients weigh more, then they're also going to have more weight and more stress going through every joint. So if we now add impact like running or jumps, this now starts to load on a lot more pressure on every single joint in the body, which can contribute towards osteoarthritis and other joint and injury problems later. We also want to factor in overheating and hydration because the client is actually metabolically working at a much higher level. They actually generate much more heat when they're of a higher BMI. So that means their temperature can raise significantly. So we want to make sure that the environment is suitable, their clothes are suitable, the aircon is at the right temperature, and our clients are drinking and resting adequately throughout the whole session. There are also individual considerations. So is our client got other conditions that have other considerations and contraindications associated? How are their confidence levels and how do they feel about being in a gym environment or a home environment, etc. We want to think about their ability and their fitness levels, as well as their own experience in the gym, which will be different for every client. And we also want to factor in their medications. If they're on things like orlistat that they're taking for their obesity or for other conditions, then you want to bear in mind that you might want to be close to a toilet as well, based on some of the side effects of that medication. And you can see there's a lot of different considerations there. It's not just a case of doing a normal program that you do with every client. There's actually very clear considerations to make sure that your client is safely and effectively moving towards their goal, but also not creating any other injuries or problems along the way. We're also looking at, most importantly, the intensity of our sessions. Notice the guidelines was moderate activity, which is under an RPE 7, so our clients aren't going anaerobic, they are staying aerobic, and this is very important to bear in mind. Now, alongside all these considerations, you'll learn these as part of becoming a level 3 supporting clients in long-term conditions qualified. Now, that is quite a lengthy title, but it replaces the old exercise referral qualification to be able to work with lots of long-term conditions, 27 in fact, obesity being one of those. And what we find is that when a client has obesity, they also often have other conditions. So that's why we need to be aware of so many different conditions as our foundational knowledge. And you can learn how to do this and be adequately qualified to work with these clients through this course, which we do totally online, and we support you fully throughout. And it's a fantastic course and really interactive how you build up your knowledge and confidence the whole way through. I'm your individual tutor for it, so I actually get to help you every step of the way. Now, if you want to find out more about that, you can click the link that is with this video. Outside of that, thank you so much for joining me, and make sure you check out the mock questions that went alongside this video too. I will see you in the next video. Take care.